Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Ah. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Thanks for tuning back in. I'm just sitting here getting ready to paint a batch of baits. I have 20 baits that are primed with the lips taped off, ready for color. So I'm just sitting here thinking about what colors and patterns I want to paint, and it's been a really long time since I painted just like an all black bait. I have a ton of confidence in fishing an all black bait, and I know a ton of people who always have a black bait in their spread. I don't paint all black often enough because I feel like when your baits are priced like mine, that I kind of owe it to the consumer to give them more to look at within the paint job than just an all black plain surface. It kind of feels like cheating, but that being said, with the confidence I have in it and knowing that people want all black baits, I'm going to try to paint an all black bait that has a little bit more detail, something that you can look closely at and appreciate the paint job. I'm talking about glitter and pearl paints and adhesive foils. And I think if I combine those three techniques, that I can make a pretty cool looking all black bait. I'm gonna go down to my epoxy room, and I have a couple of baits that are primed in black paint, and I'm going to put some black glitter on some black paint, and we're gonna start with a glitter base, and we'll just go from there and see what I come up with. My temperature in this shop right now is probably in the 20s. I am freezing cold. Painting in the cold is absolutely terrible. Nothing seems to go right. So I bought myself a little present to kind of get me through these terrible painting conditions. I think I can power through though, and I think it's gonna look cool. So come with me. Let's go. Alright, got a fresh cup of epoxy mixed up, and I have two types of glitter. I have like a really ultra fine glitter, and then I have kind of a slightly larger glitter. So I think I might actually just use both. I was hoping to use the larger of the two glitters, but I don't think it shows all that well. It doesn't like shine once there's epoxy on it, which is kind of weird. Like if you look at the glitter just like in the cup, like it's pretty shiny. But as soon as it hits epoxy, it just loses all of its shine, which I think is a problem for the big glitter. I don't even know if you'll be able to tell that there's two sizes of glitter in it. Let's do this. I hope you guys can see this. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that looks really nice. That's pretty sparkly. That's going to look pretty cool. To be honest, I don't really do a whole lot of glitter work. I don't really like working with glitter. It's not fun. It adds an extra layer of epoxy, which I like to keep my epoxy layers on my baits pretty minimal. And it's epoxy, or it's glitter. It gets everywhere, and it's a bad thing. I hate it. But sure does look cool. Spin this. Good coverage. Shiny bait. And I got 3 more to go because I'm doing 4 of these. So now I just have some 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to wipe these down basically, just get rid of the shine and just kind of smooth out any bumps or waves into the epoxy. Fortunately, these actually are pretty smooth right off the rack, so don't have to do a whole lot of sanding. But anytime you do epoxy in between layers of paint, I like to sand the epoxy, and that just kind of allows for better adhesion with the next coat of epoxy. You can get away without sanding and just epoxying over shiny epoxy. I do that for my own baits, but anything that I'm going to sell that I really need to make sure is going to hold up, I'll definitely hit it with a little bit of sandpaper. And it's easy to tell when you have low spots because they shine. I'm going to take some of this denatured alcohol and wipe down the bait, and that's going to kind of clean off any contamination from fingerprints, finger grease, and just kind of clean that bait up. You don't have any issues with paint or epoxy not sticking to it. So the glitter that was on the surface kind of turned silver, which kind of adds another color to this bait, which I'm not wild about, but we'll let it slide because it looks really cool. So now I want to do some scales. I want it on the back and then a little bit onto the shoulders, maybe as low as like the midline of this eye, and above is going to be kind of like my 3D scale. So I'm going to put this scale mesh net on this bait and clip this all on. Now I'm going to take some Carbon Black by Golden, and I'm basically going to just paint all of the scales. And I'm really just looking to cover up all that glitter where you can't see that glitter through the scales. Alright, that looks good. And now I'm going to take some Createx Pearl Black and basically just repaint all of those scales with a Pearl Black. And this Pearl Black is going to serve as the shine on the scale. So I'm going to come back with the Carbon Black at an angle that's going to blacken those scales back up, with this Pearl Black kind of being like the shiny tip of each scale. These are going to be a little more of a subtle scale. Let's see how these turned out. Okay. Alright, not bad. They're definitely there. When I spray the Intercoat on it, you'll really see those scales kind of pop a little bit. Pretty nice. It's looking good. I'm excited about this now. And I'm just going to blacken these eyes real quick. Just a halo of flat black around the eye. Before we start on the Cricut machine, just look at how awesome these ones turned out. That's great. I love those scales. I think these are going to look so cool. The gold ones are awesome. Those scales pop so much. Alright. Bars. So I just took some measurements of my baits and basically mapped out the surface area that I can put vinyl on, and I basically just drew the 1/2 side of the bars right up to the midline of the back, and I scanned it and created a mirror copy of it, and now it looks like this. Looks really good. I'm really happy with it. The top bar is exactly 3 inches wide, which is going to be perfect. I did do some test work on a bait that I had in my tackle box. I made some gold bars, and I love the shape of them. I think it's going to turn out good. This was a little too small. I wanted that bar to come down onto that belly just a little bit more, so I increased the length to 3 inches, and now I think it's going to be perfect. So I got my Cricut machine loaded up with some vinyl and ready to cut it out.
Oh no, this is really tiny.
See if I can bring it up this way. Nope, that one's not sticking. Alright, got the first bar here, and I'm just going to have to eyeball this so that it's centered and right in the spot that I want. The spacing is going to be kind of tough to figure out, but here. This lighting might be a little bit better. I think once those scales pop and that glitter kind of pops as well, I think these bars are going to really stand out. It's really subtle right now, but man, that's exactly what I was hoping for. I'm just going to add some epoxy to this eye mold to replace the eyes that I'm going to be using for the black baits. So I'm just going to epoxy some of these eye blanks to some black vinyl, and then I can epoxy those in tomorrow. But this is how I make these eyes. Super simple. It's pretty cool. Alright, 9 more to go. Alright, well that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. It's really cool when you have an idea in your head and you make a plan and it turns out exactly like you were hoping. These black baits turned out great and I can't wait to add one of these to my box. I got more baits to paint behind me, so keep your eyes peeled for more videos. And again, thanks for watching.